All right, so we've went over outbound routes, inbound routes, trunks, ring groups, extensions, but now I want to go over how it is you actually set up the phone. So what I said here was that this phone is going to register on the PBX, so we're going to have to tell this phone what extension it is. So I'm going to tell this phone, you are extension 101. You are the receptionist phone. Then it's going to connect to the PBX, and it's going to say, I am the receptionist phone, I am extension 101, and my password is the silly and secure one that I said of YouTube1234. The PBX will then say, that is the proper username and password, and then it will assign this phone extension 101. So I want to show you how it is you do that with the Cisco SPA525G phones that I have here. I went over these phones in the hardware video and why it is I like them and why I use them. So let's go over first thing that you need to know here to connect to this phone, to set it up, you need to know the phone's IP address. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn off the focus on the camera because it's going to screw all that up. So here is the phone screen. Yeah, not exactly a high-tech way to do this. We're going to hit the menu button, and then you're going to scroll down. Oh, this is confusing with the mirror image. I'm going to scroll down to status over here. And in status, we're going to have something that says network status. Inside network status, it's going to tell me its IP address. Now here, it's not telling me the IP address of the phone because I stupidly forgot to plug the Cat5 cable in. So I'm going to plug the Cat5 cable in over here so that it gets itself an IP address. That would have been a smart thing to do. And eventually, it will get itself an IP address. So I'm going to sit this thing down, wait for it to get to an IP, and then we will go back on camera. As you can barely see here, let's get the phone in a view. I have an IP address, and my IP address is 192.168.2.125. Now, when it comes to the phones, I don't set a static IP address for the phones, and I forgot to put this thing back to focus on me. I don't set an IP address for the phone. The phone is going to connect to the PBX. So the phone has to register with the PBX. The PBX is not going to seek out the phone. The PBX is not going to say, here, put 101 on this phone. The PBX simply houses the information as to what the different extensions are and what the password is for those extensions and how those extensions are used. It's the phone's responsibility to register itself with the PBX. So the phone has to know what the IP address of the PBX is so it knows where to register. The phone itself, the phone's IP address, I don't care. So that can stay DHCP. I don't care one bit. So I'm going to go to that phone's IP address, which I actually just forgot while I was blabbering. That was 192.168.2.125. So let's go over to the screen here and go in the browser 192.168.2.125. Now when I go here in the browser, you're going to see the administration interface for the Cisco phone. So I'm going to click Admin Login, Advanced. We're going to set up our extension. Now, one phone can have multiple extensions. Keep that in mind. You can have many extensions on one phone. Here, I'm setting it up so that there's one extension on each phone. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to browse down here, and I'm going to tell it where the PBX is. So where it says proxy, outbound proxy, what we're going to put here is the address of the PBX. So where is this going to register? Where is it going to go to get its credentials from? Now we're going to tell it to use that outbound proxy. Then over here, I'm going to have it display the name. So the display name is going to be receptionist. The user ID is going to be the extension. The receptionist extension here is 101. Does this page look familiar? So we went to applications, and then from applications, we went to extensions. From there, I clicked on the receptionist extension. We set her extension as 101. So the user ID over here, the user ID is going to be 101. And we're going to tell it to use the auth ID as well. The auth ID is also going to be the extension. So the auth ID and the user ID here is going to be the extension. The password is going to be the secret. So over here where it says password, this is going to be where we set the secret over here. So we're going to just take that and YouTube1234. Now, I'm going to submit my changes. Now this phone is automatically set up. It's automatically set up to make the extension button, extension 1 for all of these in case I forget. But if you want, what you can do is you can set this phone up where you have different extensions on different buttons. So the boss can set it up to where his phone actually has the boss extension and the customer service extension if he wanted his to ring at all times. If he wanted his to ring for both direct calls and also for customer service calls. You can have multiple extensions on these phones, which is a nice little, nice feature that I guess you would expect from a $125 phone. I was able to get these things for about $125, which is actually a pretty good deal. I was going over why I like these in the hardware video. So it should be done rebooting by now, so I can go back over here and show you the rest. Now when you click on phone, you can set up which extension is set to which line key. So each one of these buttons here, each one of the buttons that you see on the side, while the thing is still booting, is a line key. So come on, we don't have all day. Not exactly the fastest booting phone in the world, but how often are you going to be unplugging these things anyway? So it's saying the Ethernet connection is okay, so it was able to connect to the PBX. It's able to get an IP address and all that good stuff. Yes, all right. See how it says 101 over here? Well, barely. Put my face in closer. If it focuses on me, it'll follow the phone, hopefully. The camera's set to focus on my face. So, these are line keys. So the way this is set up right now is line key 1, line key 2, line key 3, line key 4, and line key 5. Those line keys are set to be extension 1. So over here you can see line key. Over here, line key 1, extension 1. Line key 2, extension 2. Line key 3, extension 3, and so on and so forth. And we can also set it to where it actually says receptionist. Or we could set it here to that person's name. So on the phone, it can actually say, we can make it say receptionist. We could have it say receptionist line 1, receptionist line 2, receptionist line 3, receptionist line 4, and receptionist line 5. Now, later on, I could change it so that it actually matches the name of the receptionist instead of just typing receptionist. So I'm going to show you what that looks like when this part is done over here. So this is going to take us, here we go. See what it did? So we're going to move over back to the camera and see what it says over here. It says receptionist line 1. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. There we go. See? Beautiful.
Your call cannot be completed.
Congratulations. You have successfully placed a test call using Voice Pulse 5. To disable this message and enable calls to complete, please log into the Voice Pulse 5 portal and submit a valid payment method.
I love this voice. Anybody remember that guy's voice from the HTC Evo versus iPhone 4 video?
You have successfully placed...
There's a ton of ridiculous videos like that, like Walmart's worst customer and whatnot on YouTube that I highly suggest you watch in your spare time. Whether you think they're the dumbest thing in the world or the best thing in the world, they're pretty silly and a good piece of comic relief from work. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to set up another phone extension, and then I'm going to have one phone call the other phone. So we're going to take this other phone over here. I'm going to unplug mine, actually, because I'm about to run out of Cat 5 cables on my desk. So we're going to take this phone over here, and we're going to set this phone up with an extension as well. And then we're going to have one phone call the other phone. And after one phone calls the other phone, we'll be able to leave a voicemail, and I'll be able to show you how the call recording and all that stuff works. So let's just wait for this thing to turn on over here. And once this finishes turning on, we'll be able to get started. And another cool thing about these phones, even though they're pretty affordable, you get the color screen and everything, they're also power over Ethernet. So you can simply power these off of the switch instead of having to have a separate wire. They also use Wi-Fi. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and suggest that you use Wi-Fi to set up your phone network, especially since you need a wire to power the thing anyway. So you might as well use the Ethernet wire to power the phone, and then just use that for to actually get voice and data to the phone rather than Wi-Fi. But they're very flexible, and that actually comes in handy for testing. If I'm setting up a bunch of extensions and I have two Ethernet cords on my desk, but I have a bunch of power supplies, I can easily get everything set up in the beginning just using Wi-Fi. So it's pretty useful. You get a lot of these little features that are really useful. So it's setting itself up. So the first thing I'm going to do is reset this because I believe that I actually did some preliminary setup on here that I'm going to want to get rid of. So I'm going to reset this to factory defaults. So the way that I'm going to reset this thing to factory defaults over here, first let me just get rid of face recognition, because a lot of you people may be buying these phones used. So if you buy it used, you're not going to want to have any of the old information on it. So what I did here is I hit the menu key. The menu key is this one. Brings me to the menu. Then from there, oh, this is human suffering right here. Try to read this upside mirror imaged. We're going to go to device administration, factory reset, and then we're going to hit OK. And it's going to factory reset. After it factory resets, I'm going to get the IP address of the phone. Once I have the IP address of the phone, I'm going to go to the browser and I'm going to set this up as the boss's phone. So it's factory resetting, it's factory resetting. Yes, take your time, little Cisco. It's not like we're waiting on a video. It's not like we're using disk space every single second that you take to boot into your simple embedded system. Very simple little operating system. My deltoid is starting to get sore from holding it. And you're probably getting seasick from watching it move back and forth on the screen. I know I'm getting seasick, and I'm looking at this really small 1/8 the actual resolution size in a window. I can imagine what this actually looks like when you're watching it in 1080p on your full screen. That must be incredibly frustrating. Almost as frustrating as waiting for it to boot itself. Okay, it finally got an IP address. So now what we have to do again, if you forgot, in order to log into the web administration interface here so that I can actually start setting up the damn phone, I have to hit the menu button and figure out its IP address. So we're going to scroll down to status. I think I hit the wrong button here. Yeah, we want to hit, I hit voicemail, boo. We hit menu, which is this one. See this? Menu, menu, menu. I hit the wrong one before. We're going to hit down until we get to, I believe it's status. I can barely see that. And then network status. And network status says my IP is 192.168.2.7. Now that I know the IP address of the phone, I can go to its administrator's interface in the browser. So we're going to go over to the administrative interface, 168.2.7, and it brings me to this phone. We go admin, login, and advanced. We're going to go at extension 1, and we're going to set this up as the boss's extension. We're going to do the same thing that we did before. So again, remember, proxy, outbound proxy, all of that, that's the PBX. Ignore the term proxy here. Don't get confused. We're just telling it where our PBX is. And our PBX is at 192.168.2.5. That's the same address that we're using up here. The same address we're using up here to contact the PBX to get to its administrative interface. That is the IP address that the phone is going to register at. 192.168.2.5. Use outbound proxy, yes. And now we go over here to the information. The display name is going to be boss. The user ID. User ID is going to be the number of the extension. So this is extension 701. The auth ID is going to be the same as the extension, 701. The password is going to be the secret. So whatever you set the secret to over here, you're going to put the secret into the password window, and you're going to set it to use auth ID. After that's done, I'm going to submit all changes. And we're going to wait for the Cisco to reset. Oh, it didn't take its sweet-ass time that time. That was nice of it. And for user, we're going to make the user boss line 1. We're going to make boss line 2, boss line 3, boss line 4, and boss line 5. I hit submit again. And now here's where the real fun begins. We're going to place a test phone call between the extensions and see what happens. So let's take a look at each individual phone that we have here. So we have the receptionist over here, and then we have the boss's phone over here. So I'm going to tell the receptionist phone to call the boss's phone by dialing 701 as soon as the boss's phone boots up, which, come on, little Cisco, you can do it. Not like you're trying to find the highest prime number or anything. You're not doing folding at home. You're not doing DNet C, RC572. You're... Come on. Oh, good little phone. All right, so see, it's set up, and we have a little red. It's red, which means it's not quite registered yet. So see how these buttons are green, and see how those buttons are red? That means issue. That means I did not type something in properly. So we're going to go back to that interface and figure out what is it that Lewis did that was stupid. So let's go advanced, admin login, extension 1. So what did I do wrong? So we click extension 701. The secret is YouTube 1234. That maybe I typed the secret in wrong. I'm going to submit the changes. And we just wait for the thing to wake up. And it didn't save my short names either. How dare you? Boss line 2, boss line 3, boss line 4, boss line 5. Now when I take a look at the phone, as you can see, since I fixed my fuck up of typing the password in incorrectly, now the extensions are all green. So green, good. Red, bad. Again, Cisco, the thing I like about Cisco equipment is they make a lot of the stuff idiot-proof. So it's idiot-proof. It just works. I'm going to type in, hit that to start a phone call, and I'm going to ring the receptionist. I'm going to type 101, and then I'm going to click on where it says dial. And when I click that, the receptionist's phone over here starts to ring. And then I can answer it. And neither of them has a headpiece attached, so there's going to be feedback. But as you can see, this is a phone call. This is mean. All right. And that's enough of that. Now, the next thing I'd like to do here is I'd like to leave a voicemail for the receptionist. So over there, I did something that I can use to test call recording and show you how call recording works. Now I'm going to show you how the voicemail system works. I'm just going to call the receptionist, and I'm not going to pick up. And as you can see, since I've set up the names internally in the system, when I make inter-office phone calls, since I filled it in over here, it says to receptionist. And on the receptionist's phone, it says that there's a call. Well, it said there was a call from boss. See if I miss over here. It says the missed call is from boss. See that? It says missed call, boss. So now I'm leaving a voicemail. And I think and yeah, that's that. So I'm going to go over how it is you find this voicemail in the user interface over there. I like showing people visual voicemail. A lot of people don't really like this whole thing where you dial *97 or *98 and it goes, you have 6 new voice messages. 1 voice message at 10:52 p.m. November 23rd. Like, by the time you get to it, it's just, shut the fuck up and show me my voicemail. And if you want to ignore that voicemail, then it asks, do you wish to delete or save or archive, or just go away. I like having a list of voicemail. I like being able to see who called, how long is the call, is the person who called important, can I start listening to it, can I skip through the voicemail, so if they're like, hi, I hope you have a great day, I can just skip ahead to what it is they want. I like visual voicemail. So that's what I like to offer to people. So let's just go over here to this setup and show you how visual voicemail works.